Hi everyone, it's Krista from Hilltop in the Valley blog, and it has been just about 6 months since we brought our daughter home from Ukraine. And in that time, a lot has happened. Sometimes it doesn't feel like a lot has happened, but a lot has happened. And I just wanted to make a video for you, bring you an update, and show you what it has been like from the day that we brought her home until now, and the changes that we have seen along that time. So Bailey was adopted from an orphanage in Ukraine, and there is something that you have to know before we get started on this update, and that is that kids from orphanages come home with different symptoms, if you want to call them that, than kids who have just come out of foster care or some other kinds of adoption. Kids that are from orphanages tend to display certain symptoms, and I'm going to read off a few of them. So there's hypervigilance and proactive aggressiveness. There's self-soothing and self-stimulating behavior, so things like rocking, laying and sucking their thumb. You've got head spinning or head banging. Those are some self-stimulating behaviors. Extreme attention seeking. There's one that we've noticed a lot. The idea that if attention is gone, then it is gone for good. And there are a lot of other orphanage behaviors. I will put a link along with this video that will bring you to a website that you can check out all of the orphanage behaviors to get to know them yourself. But I just wanted to bring you a few so you can kind of get an idea that things are a little bit different for kids from orphanages. So for Bailey, when we brought her home, she showed definite signs of orphanage behavior through her sucking her thumb. She didn't know how to play, but her main activity would be to lay on the floor and maybe have a blanket around her and suck her thumb. And she was almost 3 years old, and that is what she would choose to do. She would stare at something and just suck her thumb. She did know how to color. She enjoyed coloring, but she did not have a long attention span, and so it wouldn't last very long. She enjoyed looking at pictures and books, and I'm trying to think if there was anything else that she really could do as far as playing. She didn't know how to do imaginative play. When we brought her home, many of the play toys that you think of at a house have to do with a house. So like our toy kitchen, for her didn't mean anything because she had never seen a kitchen before. She didn't know what a stove was. She didn't know what these cooking dishes were. She was always in a spot where food was just given to her and she would take what she got. So when we brought her out of the orphanage, I could literally put my middle finger and my thumb together around her waist. That is as tiny as her waist was. Remember being over there and someone saying, "Oh, I think they feed them good here. They seem to feed them a lot," because she had just thrown up on me in the car afterwards, because what do you know, kids get car sick who have never been in a car before. And that was her size. She was 17 pounds or so. She was almost 3 years old, and she had very thin hair. She had a lot of curly hair, so it looked thick. I didn't realize how thin it was until I look at it now. 6 months later, her hair has thickened. I've had to cut it. I actually cut off a lot because it had gotten so long. It was just about all the way down her back, and when she came home, it was only shoulder length or so. Her skin is more plump. As far as her play, like I was saying, she didn't know how to play very much. She didn't know how to play with blocks. She'd watch the boys create things, and she would just stand by and watch for a little bit before trying to find attention from an adult, or have an adult hold her, or go off into her own little world and suck her thumb. She did not know how to do puzzles. We would try and work out puzzles, and the simplest puzzles that were made for babies, she would not be able to understand how one color is the same color as another color, and that's why you would piece it together. She just could not grasp those concepts. At this point, she is doing a lot of imaginative play. She's making things with blocks and building with the boys. She can do puzzles. We work on kind of a preschool book together that she really loves. She noticed that her older brother got lots of attention because he was doing school in the daytime, and Mom always had to help him with schoolwork, and so she began to beg to have her own schoolwork. And so I got her a little preschool activity book, which we go through a little bit every day as well. When we had first brought her out of the orphanage, I brought out raspberries, which she loved, and I remember her pulling them apart. I gave her just a few, maybe like 4 of them or something, and she would pull them apart, and then she'd eat that half. And she got down to about 1 raspberry left, and she would just tear it in half, eat it, and then she'd tear it in half again until the raspberry was like as small as a little seed. It was so tiny, and that was just heartbreaking. But I gotta tell you, that went away really quickly when she found that she was fed a lot, and she was fed consistently, and that the kids around her, her siblings, were fed a lot. She had no worries with food, and thankfully that is something that she does not show a lot of problems with at this point. She complained about owies like 50 times a day. I am not even kidding. And a lot of it was not real owies. It was just that she felt she needed something to get attention, something for someone to want to take care of her. At Christmas, I actually bought her own box of Band-Aids, and I did notice during that time when I gave her control over having the box of Band-Aids and being able to take them out, even though, man, did it make a mess on the floor, she did it, and she began to not complain about owies as often because she knew that there was something there that would help her with it, and Mom would help take a Band-Aid out if she needed it. At this point, she still complains of owies. Of course, a lot of them are true owies. She complains about her back hurting, which she has a lesion on her back from her lumbar agenesis, and I believe that that does actually hurt at times. So she has come a long way in understanding that she will be cared for, even if she has an owie. And even if she doesn't have an owie, she will be cared for. Attention span is much longer now. She did not have an attention span, I would say, like at all when we brought her home. We would turn on a Russian cartoon for her that she recognized, that she loved, and we'd watch it for like 3 minutes, and then she'd be done and she'd want to go do something else, which wouldn't usually even be doing something else because she didn't have much of an attention span for anything. Most of her attention would be focused on trying to get attention put on her. And I'd say she still has that leaning. She still, most of her attention span is going towards looking for attention to be put on her. But all in all, her attention span has gone from that to she'll be able to go and do play for, a good 15 minutes. She's able to play with her siblings for a chunk of time like that. Yesterday, she was outside with them for a good hour just playing and did not need me to come and get her. That was great. And to think back on that and the amount of time that she was able to play and do things with them compared to back when she first got home, and her mind had such an anxious overwhelm about it, it just is very encouraging for me. If you are not familiar with attachment styles, go ahead and click on the link. I will post it in the notes below. But an ambivalent attachment style has to do with a child who will make themselves look helpless in order to be given the care that they need. Usually kids with ambivalent attachment style have come from a background of having not consistent care. So maybe they will have care and then suddenly it will be gone. In her case, you can imagine at an orphanage, which we were told was one of the better orphanages over there, and I do believe that she would get some care. She was considered a favorite at the orphanage. She would get some care, but when you have 20, 30 kids that you need to care for at the same time, and you have a rigid schedule throughout the day, it is not about trying to have eye contact. It's not about trying to see what the kids actually need. You can't be carrying around babies for that much time. They just are not going to get the care. They're not going to have people to care for them at night when they're scared. And so she had definitely developed this. When we got home, she was pushing her father away. She would actually taunt him if he was holding her, which she hated him to hold her at all, because she wanted me all the time. And she did not want me to go to the bathroom. She did not want me to leave the room. She would just have a huge breakdown if I went outside, which made a lot of chores really difficult, you can imagine. And she soon learned that her dad was trustworthy. She soon did not taunt him if I had to take her back from him. She used to just would smile and laugh, or she had really learned these survival techniques and things that you even think, man, that seems like something a teenager would do. Like, she would roll her eyes so well, and she doesn't really do that anymore, but she did that a lot then. It's interesting to see all the survival tactics and how that has slowly gone down. We are still working on a lot, but like I said, it's good to look back and see that we are not in that place that we were at when we brought her home. And she is okay with mom stepping outside the door to go take the trash out or let the chickens out of the coop. She's okay from letting mom go around to do her chores in the morning. She would much rather have mom care for her and hold her, but she has learned that no, mom does have chores to do. Mom does have meals to make, that food does not just come to us. And she's getting used to this, and she's getting used to the fact that even when mom does that, she will get care afterwards. Like I said, she is still in the mindset that she needs to whine a lot of the time for it, but she's learning to use her words, and that is encouraging. I feel like I have to say, 50 times a day at this point, use your words. Don't be whining. You can try that again and use your words. And I wonder when that will completely go into her mind and change the way she thinks, so that she doesn't feel like she has to make herself look like a helpless victim all the time, that she actually has power over getting her needs met. So now, I have had to dig into my triggers so much because so many things would trigger me. And honestly, I blamed myself for a lot of the issues that we had had until I finally realized that on the one hand, I realized that it is a big picture thing, that things do not have to be fixed right now, that there are a lot of things to fix. But you know what? She's in a safe place. There are good things happening. And even though emotionally she might not always feel like it is a safe place, that there is a mom and dad here to take care of her. And that in itself is an amazing thing. All right, well, that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and check out the post that goes along with this video. I have more info there. If you are an adoptive parent, or if you are planning on being an adoptive parent, there are some great things to look into that will help you along the journey. And follow me on Facebook and Instagram. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. I will see you soon.